I'm not going to lie to you. It feels good to own Palantir. Palantir went on a rise. Palantir took a massive dump. Palantir was even sub $6. And all of a sudden, Palantir was over $12 today. That's right. We hit a new 52-week high. Ending the day at around $11.88. We were up over 1% for the day. The greatest thing about owning Palantir right now is not actually the price going up, not actually that we're up 85% year to date, and not even that we keep making new all-time 52-week highs. What's really exciting about Palantir is our best days are right in front of us. Let me explain a little bit. Do you remember when Dr. Alex Karp, he went on an interview around 5 months ago and he was talking about our total addressable market being $900 billion? At the time, that seemed really big. If you don't remember, here's a clip right here.
It sort of speaks to what you talked about in your recent letter, which was you've shifted from insurgent outsider to incumbent. This idea of software as a prime, how big is that opportunity for Palantir?
Well, America spends about $800 billion on software. By the way, we're also very big in Britain and a number of other countries. So, to use a term I hate that financial people love, total addressable market is probably north of $900 billion. And we believe we have the single most important components for adaptive warfare against a large adversary that's willing to allow their troops to die. So exactly what you saw in the Ukraine, and that the percentage of the 900 billion that we would be able to capture is obviously very large, because pragmatic people are like, well, I could spend 100 billion on something that maybe has marginal impact, that our adversaries, by the way, when you're looking at value, you always have to ask, what is it that I can build the adversary can't build? And there's a lot of things that are going to shift simply because we're building things adversaries can also build. But software, they will not be able to keep up with us. And so more and more of that market is going to come to not just in Palantir's direction, but in the direction of people that can build software that is useful or critical.
Shout out to Palantir Bite Sized. I actually got it from one of his videos. I couldn't find the specific clip, so thank you so much for that. In this interview, Dr. Alex Karp talks about that the software business itself is going to be a $900 billion total addressable market. However, he was most certainly wrong, or at the time, a huge AI push and revolution was not taken into account. Hate it or love it, we must thank OpenAI and we must thank ChatGPT, because the world in itself did not even understand how big artificial intelligence is. Every single day that I'm doing more research on artificial intelligence, there is a larger total addressable market and larger CAGR that we have. When I was doing my research before, our total addressable market for total TAM for our total addressable market for AI was around 1.6 trillion by 2030. In a moment, I'm going to play you a quick clip. And in this clip, the estimation of AI total addressable market is now 2 to 3 trillion. And just last week, ARK Invest came out and said the total addressable market of AI is $14 trillion. $14 trillion, $2 to $3 trillion, and even $1.6 trillion was never taken into account when Dr. Alex Karp said there's a $900 billion total addressable market. In his interview, he says that Palantir is going to get a large amount of that total addressable market. And as you could hear from the clip, he explains why Palantir is going to get that. However, I believe that Palantir is going to get a much larger share of that market because that market just got absolutely massive. With an estimated growth rate for AI development, CAGR, compound annual growth rate, somewhere between mid-30% and even over 50% if you listen to ARK Invest, it's absolutely a massive market. The thing is, I did a poll, Amit did a poll. Over 65% of the people that watch my channel, which is essentially a technology, and I'm super heavy into AI, right? Never use ChatGPT, never use Bard, and never stack all of the amazing artificial intelligence programs out there. But I guarantee you, if you were to use artificial intelligence, it would change your life because your life just got so much easier. There's no need for an assistant. There's no need for you to do that much research. You can do more as a one-person business than you could have done, let's say, you and 2 employees, because artificial intelligence makes your life that much easier. The problem with ChatGPT, the problem with Bard, and the problem with all of these open network artificial intelligence is they make you super productive, but you as a business, you as a government, and you as a military aspect government cannot use these artificial intelligence. But now that everybody knows how powerful ChatGPT is and how it makes you so much more productive, people are literally thirsty. They are literally on their knees, be like, Palantir, can you save us? Literally, they are begging for a product. And Palantir is bringing that product in something called AIP, which stands for Artificial Intelligence Platform. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Such an amazing name. I don't know how they came up with a name like that. I would have never guessed to call my artificial intelligence platform the Artificial Intelligence Platform. Shout out to Palantir, of course. Because they're coming out with this platform, as per Dr. Alex Karp, in 20 years, the demand for this new platform is unprecedented. Now, this AIP is not just a standalone platform, it is in commingling, cohabitable, or complementary to Gotham and Foundry. So in order to use AIP, you need to have other software, other platforms of Palantir, which is really, really cool. At the end of the day, everybody was thinking that they were going to have a massive, massive recession, including myself. However, as you're going to see in this clip right now, and I was thinking about this the same thing, guys, at the end of 1910s, there was something called Spanish flu, which is the equivalent of coronavirus that we just had. After that, you had something called the Roaring Twenties, which is essentially a renaissance in art and critical thinking and things like that, right? Bohemianism. And then there was a massive depression at the end of the 1920s, right at the end, but they had like a good near decade. AI can bring the same thing, but more. I'll tell you why. That was a, social renaissance. AI is a financial and productivity renaissance for your mind. We had coronavirus, and now we possibly can have a very prosperous decade or two because of AI. And if you believe in AI, and if you don't believe in it, just use AI in your regular life and you're going to understand how powerful you're becoming, then you must believe in the thesis that Palantir is going to get a huge amount of that pie, whether it's 1.6 trillion at the low end or 14 trillion on the high end of estimates. I don't think people actually took into account this artificial intelligence, daily use case, AIP, ChatGPT, Bard, whatever, any of this, in pricing Palantir. But now that it's here, Palantir was literally built for this shit, and they've been training, working for this specific moment. They're taking advantage and seizing the opportunity that's right in front of them. And unlike a lot of other companies that are going to claim they can make something like a ChatGPT for businesses or for government, both military and non-military, Palantir actually has this platform. They actually built this platform. This month, it's going out to a select few customers. And next month, we're going to have something called FoundryCon. I am assuming and predicting that on FoundryCon, we're going to get a lot more information about the AIP platform. Listen very carefully to the clip that I'm going to play you right now. It's around a 4-minute video on CNBC, and they specifically are talking about artificial intelligence and how artificial intelligence is going to change the world for the next decade. Artificial intelligence is huge, and just listen to the use cases that they're talking about in this video, from a possible $2 to $3 trillion total addressable market to a massive $200 billion healthcare system market. Listen to what they're saying and tell me this is not what Palantir is already doing with the NHS, what Palantir is already doing with the Cleveland Clinic, what Palantir is already doing with Tampa hospitals, and what Palantir is already doing across medical healthcare. That alone is a $200 billion total addressable market. Before I play you this clip, please give me the like, share, subscribe if you're feeling my content. If you want to support my channel, $3 a month, become a channel member. It really does help me out. And I have a link to my Twitter down below. I will leave it in the comments. It's at Adam Bergman's MM.
Denny, president of Yardeni Research, who says AI could be the thing that kicks off the Roaring Twenties. Stephanie Link also feels there could be a lot of industries that benefit, and welcome to both of you. Ed, I'll just start with you. You say Roaring Twenties. I say, hard landing. And markets are voting with you right now, I think.
Oh, I say potato, you say potato.
Yeah.
Um, Look, I think that the 1920s is maybe a good model for what could happen during the 2020s. The 1920s started out a couple of years before that with a global pandemic, the Spanish flu that killed millions of people. And then we had a depression in the United States in 1920. So things must have felt absolutely horrible at the beginning of the decade, and yet it turned out to be the roaring 1920s because of all the technological innovations. I think that a lot of the technologies we have now are kind of coming together: robotics, automation, nanotechnologies, and I think AI is sort of the glue that puts all these things together into a technology that increases the productivity of the brain. Technologies in the past increased the brawn of productivity, lifting things, whereas this is going to supplement our ability to just think faster and come up with ideas faster and solutions faster.
Stephanie, how do you react to that? I mean, is the potential of AI so vast across so many industries that it could be a real productivity and prosperity lifter?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the real deal, right? The total addressable market for AI is going to be something like 2 to 3 trillion by the end of this decade, and annual growth on a compound annual rate is about 37.3% per year. And only 25% of the companies in the United States actually use AI in any way. And we've been hearing from companies all across every different sector talk about AI. I mean, I was just going through some of my industrial companies and how they talked about on the conference calls a lot of different kinds of AI, right? I mean, Ingersoll Rand and Rockwell Automation and Emerson Electric. But then I'm also looking at some of the hospitals and looking at smart healthcare. That could actually be a $200 billion total addressable market. Think of like processing, right, and data records and that sort of thing. And then, of course, there's also robotics, as Ed mentioned. That's a really big part in like the industrial side, agriculture, and that sort of thing. So I think there's a lot of areas, a lot of sectors that are going to win. I think this year it has been interesting that it's been really focused on the technology companies. Almost everybody else is getting ignored. But I think over time, we will recognize that this is definitely a productivity enhancer. You need stronger compute power, more storage, and faster networking, and that's going to benefit many different industries.
You know, Steph, I think I sort of trying to think through the AI and the sort of macro, the business cycle at the same time. You might say, okay, AI is certainly taking the sting out of what would have otherwise been, you know, a harder landing so far. No question, especially for semis, you know, coming out of the cycle. What's happening with the rest of the stocks? You know, is it true that everyone else, you know, there's the debate between the equal weighted versus, you know, the market cap weighted, and because you have the granularity of following so many other companies, do you think they're healthy right now? You know, are we gonna be okay for the rest of the year if we kind of exclude the AI story? Is that masking weakness elsewhere?
Well, I think there are a lot of companies and sectors that have actually done quite well in this past earnings season, but they're really not getting the credit. And I think when you go back to tech, yeah, the top 7 mega cap tech companies account for 90% of the year-to-date returns, but there's other parts of tech that's done well too, Kelly, right? SMH is up 30%, software is up 40%, cybersecurity is up 30%. Now that's tech and comm services, and that's 35% of the S&P 500. So to the extent they hold up, I think the market can hold up. Hopefully, eventually, we will get credit and give credit to some of these other sectors that are doing a lot of wonderful things too. But so far, not so much.